Alright, so today we're going to do a drawing of a tree kind of interacting with the sky, what I call the SkyTree drawing project. So we're just going to get that set up and we're going to do this digitally. So we're going to go over to the digital drawing app. Alright, I've got a new document set up. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to go to my media selection. And I'm going to pick a pencil, and I'm going with a really light yellow. Now, see, this is just kind of a little bit of a drawing trick, is to draw with different colors as you solidify more strongly what you want to put on. So, the main drawing point that we have is this tree engaging with the sky in some way. So, we need to make decisions on where things are going to go. So, first thing I would like to do is put in some kind of reference. I like it nighttime, so we're going to draw in a moon. Okay, and then I would need to decide how my tree is going to engage with that sky. I think I'm going to draw a more of a pine tree. So what I'm going to do is I'm putting in kind of the trunk. Okay, and then I'm going to think about those rings of pine branches sitting above me as like circles moving up. So if I draw a straight line as to where that tree is going to hit at the top, that would be the very top of the tree. And we know pine trees get bigger as they come down, so that would be a ring. That would be a ring, ring. Okay, circle, circle, going up. Okay, so I need to decide if that is enough or not. And I think it would be. We'll give it a shot. Okay, maybe I'll go a little bigger. Okay. I kind of like that size. Trees engaging with the sky in some way. We could put another tree in. So let's say there's one here in the background. This one would be easier to draw because they're going to see less of it. Let's put another one in, maybe here. Okay. And we might see a little bit more of that one. So that'll go there. Let's see. So we've got that in. We have plenty of room for the sky. We've got a nice big moon. So that's not bad. So what I'm going to do is switch to a more sturdy color. Maybe we'll upgrade to orange. Then I'm going to add a new layer, and then I'm going to drop the opacity of that layer down. Make sure you click back to that new layer. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit more detail to my tree. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there. I've kind of got those layers to base off of, so now I know that tree is going to go there. Most branches come out kind of in this fashion. Okay, and they've got nice spindly. I could think about the branches a little bit on this bottom layer. Okay, they get staggered. Now looking at this and how thick I'm drawing the branches, I may want to go longer past this. Right now I'm just going to worry about the branches. I'm not going to worry too much about the actual pine needles if you were going to draw a pine tree. Okay, probably throw another one in. Maybe right there. Okay, so at that point I would have quite a few needles coming off there, so then I could go up to that next level. Okay, moving up, continuing to go forward and up. Make sure my branches are getting smaller. Okay, and then we have the top of the tree. Okay, so I've kind of got a really spiky tree right now, and that's totally fine because I'm going to be adding branches and pine needles and all of that. This is just to kind of give me a solid idea of what I need to do. Okay, that's not bad. Alright, so new layer, drop the opacity of that layer, make sure you click onto the new layer. I think we're pretty close to being set. Now at this point you could choose the draw in black and white. This is something that we want to kind of lean towards in with painting with this drawing, so I'm going to go with a draw oil. I'm going to go with a green, okay, because this is a pine tree and I am putting some cool colors on there. So I'm going to kind of drop it over to that kind of grayer green in there, lose some of that color value. Okay, and I'm going to drop the size a little bit more. Okay, so this first layer of our pine tree, we can always go back. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to just try to lay in my needles, see how that works. And if I want to then come back and put on my branches and those details, I can do that, and I can always throw that layer above them because, you know, layers are rearrangeable, so I can add more layers in. I kind of want to get this idea of like how, I don't think I want one there. I want to get this idea of like how my pine needles are going to sit, so I kind of have an idea of what I need for details for when I'm drawing the branches. Okay. But I'm using that underdrawing as kind of a way to like figure out where I want to go. Okay. And we're going to do this kind of in a very strange method. Because what we're doing is we're thinking about this as a painting in a sense. And we do want to kind of get some different layers in here. Okay. So this is all pretty close in what we would see. I think I'm going to throw one more in here. What would be pretty close to the person if they were looking up underneath a big pine tree. Pine trees are a bit different. Like if I had tried to draw like an oak or an elm tree, depending on what season it was, I might see a lot less foliage. I'll wait for that one. Okay. So kind of that base layer, maybe I'll throw a little bit more in there. I can always add more. I can drop the opacity to this. I've got lots of options so far, but kind of like that idea, I can build from there. So what we're going to do is keep that there. I'm going to add another layer. Now this is going to be the layer behind it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is it would be getting closer to the moon, so I would be able to see more of it. So what I'm going to do then is take that layer and move it down. I took the value of it and kind of went up a little bit, so it was a little bit brighter. Okay, and now I'm going to be drawing on this layer, selected on this layer, but it's behind my darker green. So this gives me an opportunity to kind of fill this out more and see the tree, what it's going to be doing behind there. So this gives me an opportunity to fill that tree out a bit more on like what's above this layer of the tree. Now I'm definitely going to be throwing in some black on each of these layers, but for now we're just going to be doing kind of this lighter, paler green. Okay. Filling in these spots because pine trees are pretty full. Okay, let's then go to another layer, put that one above there. Okay, but it's actually underneath. So then I'm going to just move this way a little bit more. We don't want to go too far. Okay, now it's above that one. Okay, I'm going to do another one. Move it down. Even lighter. Let's move a little bit more towards like greener value and kind of lose some of that grayness. But it's kind of a pale color. We don't want to, we don't want to bring too much color into this because it is nighttime. we'll leave that one for now. Let's just see what happens. Alright, so now we have a tree. Okay, I think now would be the time that I would want to draw in some of our tree effects. So what I'm going to do is go to there, and I'm going to go back to the pencil, and then I'm going to pick black, and I'm going to be drawing right on that one tree layer. Okay. So what we're going to do then is just draw in some of those things that I have. Now, I don't want to go too far with this, but this is the things that would be seen. So like the beginnings of the branches. I have a very kind of rushed, kind of rough style with how I draw those kind of things in. Now, pine trees are very textured. I've got a lot of stuff going on, so I'm going to be a little more free with my marks. Okay, now what we're going to do is I'm going to go to the next layer. I'm going to throw some marks in on that one. Now these marks are going to be behind this one. Okay, I'm not going to be too descriptive. It's just kind of adding layers of mark making. Some peeking back out. Gonna add a little bit more way up there. Doesn't seem like it's showing through too much. Now, since this is getting further away, I may want to decrease my drawing size because it's further away, so it would be smaller marks. Okay, I feel pretty good about that, except for those last marks that I made. Okay, so what I'm going to do is add another layer in, and I'm going to put this behind, underneath this tree layer, and what we're going to do is we're going to put some brown down. So, I'm going to go to the brown, I'm going to drop in the gray a little bit more, I'm going to go back to my dry oil. There we go. We're going to go pretty dark. It is nighttime. This is going to kind of be my base layer for this. What we should do is bring this all the way down below all of my, don't want to do that. There we go. Okay. Now what we're going to do, we've got that one, so I'm going to throw one on top of that, but I'm going to just change the brown color. I'm going to decrease my size so I have a little more control. Kind of got a lighter one, paler too, maybe a little more color. Oops, let's go smaller. This is just adding a little bit of tone, so around the edges it would be darker, so I'm going to leave kind of those darker marks kind of towards the far edge, but these lighter marks kind of give me a little bit more highlighting marks. Now, what I'm going to do is drop the opacity for that. There we go. And let's go with one more layer. Let's go with kind of a lighter one. We're going to drop the opacity way down. This will be just kind of like a highlight. Can use kind of sparingly, but like I said, pine trees are pretty textured, so lots of marks, lots of things going on. Okay, might throw a couple in there just to kind of add to it. Alright, so pretty okay with that so far. Okay, now what we need is to get rid of these, or under drawings. Lost my moon, but that's okay. I'm going to go to here. I'm going to add a layer. I'm going to drop that one all the way down. Come on. Okay. What I'm going to do is pick my color. It is a night sky, so what I'm going to do first, I'm going to do kind of an underpainting. I'm going to throw that opacity up. I'm going to go really big. It's going to be kind of a dark blue, so I'm going to go somewhere around the orange, but kind of a duller orange. Okay, because orange is a complement to blue. So to kind of give it a little more feel, I'm going to put an underpainting of orange in there. So I want to add a little bit more there. So with that layer, pick this color. I'm going to go with a pretty small brush. Let's put that on a separate layer. Alright. Feel better about that. Okay. Now, let's add in some dark tones to this bottom layer. So I've got my green again. What we're going to do is go pretty dark, drop that size down. We're going to add in some shadow effects. Okay, let's also, gotta wait. Let's actually go on top. This is going to give the pine needles more depth. There. Name of the show. Now I'm going to put quite a few marks over here because this is on the back side of the tree, further away from us. So I'm going to go quite a bit on my drawing that's going to sit over the top of this. I'm going to try to keep it pretty controlled. If I get too much going on, like stroke wise, it gets kind of chaotic. So I want to try to keep my mark making pretty contained. Don't want to get too out there. Move in the right direction. Oops. Alright, so let's go with another layer. We're going to go real dark. Okay. This one's just going to be over here because it's on that far side. I'm not going to see as much of this because it is nighttime. Alright, so we're going to continue in on adding some darker layer to this. Because this is on the opposite side and it's nighttime, we want to take a lot of that color out. Best way to kill the color, black. Okay. Alright, I feel pretty good about that. Let's add some. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go with a separate layer. Okay, and now we're going to throw in some black on these other layers here. Okay, but I'm going to be kind of hesitant with this. It is kind of up in a tree. I don't want to take too much in there. And I'm probably going to reduce the opacity of it after a minute. But I'm thinking about where the shadows lie. So like in the spaces between the branches, you know, up above, kind of within the branches, because pine trees are fairly complex with all the little pine needle groupings. So I want to add some shadows up in there, but I don't want to go too far with it. Okay, this is a lot of steps, and this is how you get to that point where, you know, you have better paintings, better drawings. You have to take the steps to do it. You have to add lots and lots of little extra details that really make it a better drawing. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes patience. Sometimes also takes mistakes. Alright, so I like that. Let's see what it looks like if I drop the opacity. No, just a little bit. Alright, I'm going to add one more layer. I'm going to start throwing some more kind of shading in around this tree. Kind of adding a little bit more depth to the tree itself. Because again, it's nighttime. I know it's kind of a ways to imagine that, but we don't want to go too much with the color. So I don't hurt myself. What we're going to do is we're going to go here and we're going to start coloring in. We're going to click on this layer. We're going to add a layer. We're going to go right in there. So this puts us above all of that. Yeah, right there. So what we're going to do, undo that, and then we're going to drop this size down fairly significantly. Okay, and then we're going to throw in some more marks. Now, being that this is further away, I'm just going to leave it on black rather than going that slow step of color like we did before. Alright, we're going to go up a step to that layer there, add in a layer. That just means it's behind that one that we just got done coloring. Let's drop our size down a little bit more. Looks like 4 is about as small as we can go. We might go to the pencil with the next layer. Let's see. We go to the pencil, pass these all the way up. We have actually got black. 4 is pretty small. There we go. Whoops. I'm going to try to be darker with it closer to these edges, so there should be like more dark value down here where I'm coloring now and less at the edge. Let's do some this. Drew just up there, so then I'm going to go here, add a layer, go below that one. Okay, let's see. Can we go smaller with the pencil? 2. Perfect. When you're drawing, making stuff, sometimes it's like looking at this really close, it just looks like a bunch of scribbles. But it's really like the composite of all things put together, how the unit looks as a whole, the sum of its parts, rather than just what it looks like real close up. We might go back to that, but we'll leave that for now. Alright, so let's be a little more refined with our color variations here. Let's go with the top one. Since we're going to be seeing here, we'll go that small size, go to the green. Since it's got some moonlight on it, or will have on it, let's add in a couple of layers. Color value, kind of give it a little bit. Moon's going to be on that side, so we want a little bit of highlight there. I'm just going to add in the highlight to each layer. Let's try that. Working out through. So just let's engage with the background a little bit, see how that goes. So, way down there, we've got that orange background. Let's Alright, so let's go to the blue, dark blue. Pretty big base layer. Now, if I just paint straight over it, just no point in doing the orange. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop that opacity a little bit, so it informs that drawing some. Kind of grays it out, orange and blue. Counteract each other. So what we're going to do is add another layer in. We're going to drop my brush size, and we're just going to move up on the scale. Okay, I think I want some kind of swirly pattern. Add in another one. We'll just move up, drop the brush size. Okay, I think what we'll do here, we'll add in one more layer. We're going to add this, the last layer will be kind of around here. We're going to drop the opacity on this one too, just to give our sky a little bit more depth. This is all just kind of groundwork stuff. Okay. Let's try, see what that does. Changing the layers, bump up the opacity on that. And that one. Let's throw in a layer of something kind of bright below those two, just to give it a little more depth, because it'll peek out in some spots, not in others. Okay. Now the idea with this project is to engage the tree in some fashion. So to do that, we need to put our sky layer that we're going to put on top. Just delete that one. Go up here, select that layer, add to it. Much better. Alright, so let's go to a nicer blue. We're going to drop the size a bit. And just follow those kind of marks that we made. I'm going to drop some in a little bit more down there. Some out there. It's like we're pulling it into the tree a little bit, like as if the tree were part of that. We did lose our extra trees. I don't really mind though. But what we're going to do is drop the opacity. Okay, and we'll add another one. And now we'll go with this more grade mark. I'm going to bump up the size. Now I'm going to just be a little more selective. Something darker. This one I'm going to kind of like conform to the circle. But we're going to drop the opacity way down, so it's just barely there. Alright, let's add in some highlights, but we're going to do that. We're going to go way back down. Okay, let's go with something pretty light, pale, towards the white. Drop the size down, maybe the opacity just a little bit. Maybe find a particular mark and kind of focus in on that, like adding this lightness to it. There we go. Now I'm going to go back up. I'm going to select that one. Now what I'm going to do is add a layer to it. I'm going to go pretty much on the white, kind of light blue. I'm going to drop the opacity way down on this though. I'm going to find a particular mark that I want to emphasize. I feel pretty good about that. Let's throw in a moon. Now what I'm going to do, we want to go behind the tree but above the sky. So let's add it there. Now I'm going to use my handy ellipsis tool. Depending on how big I want that moon to be. I think I'm going to put it kind of like over there. I want it kind of in the epicenter, but I want that deep space in there. So I'm going to go fairly light blue. I'll bump the size up. We're going to go almost white, but not quite. Oops. Alright. Okay, I'll zoom in on that. I don't mind those marks being there. Let's add a layer and then go sort of gray, way down on the sides, drop the opacity. Craters. And let's go here. We'll just go down and we'll delete a little bit of these. soft eraser. Okay, so we're on this layer. I'm just gonna go over the top of my moon. And that's it. So, lots of stuff going on with that one. I could do a little bit more now with the moon if I wanted to go back down. Let's check that moon out a little bit more. Dry well. Add a little bit more depth to it. There we go. I like that better. Alright, and that's it.